Welcome back, my fellow mobile gamers of YouTube, to my weekly mobile gaming recap, where I share and discuss the most interesting mobile games I played last week. And this week, I've got no less than 4 amazing mobile games lined up for you, including a massive open-world adventure RPG, a fun RPG card battler, a 2D volleyball game, and I know that's a bit of an odd one because I don't typically cover sports games here on the channel, but we're gonna do one of those today. And then lastly, a new Mario Kart-like kart racer by the developer of Hill Climb Racing. And if you're one of those people who've been looking for a new RPG to just dive hundreds of hours into on mobile, then I think you're really gonna enjoy today's first game called Elona Mobile. Because this is a unique open world adventure RPG with dungeon crawling gameplay elements, and it's one of the most content-rich games I've ever played on mobile. The game features an almost sandbox-like open world full of dungeons to fight our way through for loot and resources, and then cities we can visit to complete lots of main and side quests, interact with NPCs, and of course gradually grow stronger. And due to the very short tutorial in this game, it really feels like a true adventure game where almost everything must be manually explored. The world is also incredibly large in Elona Mobile, and there are so many game systems and so much content that Elona might actually feel overwhelming at first. For example, right from the beginning of the game, we're asked to pick between 11 races and 10 different character classes, not to mention the insane number of stats, attributes, and skills like fishing, mining, and alchemy that can either be leveled up or influenced by the gear we equip. But on the bright side though, this also adds an almost endless amount of replayability to the game, because you can just go create a new character and it's almost guaranteed to not feel like the first character you created. The turn-based combat system lets us fight directly in the open world with the help of our pets and companions, of which we can have multiple equipped. And I really enjoyed how fast-paced the combat system felt, especially once you have over 3 pets equipped, because they all help attack, and at that point things happen really fast. At least that's where I'm at in the game right now. I barely have to attack myself anymore. I can just run around with my pets and they'll do most of the hard work for me. The cute and adorable 2D graphics are decent, and the controls also work alright with both D-pad and tap to move options. Elona Mobile monetizes by selling a premium currency that can be spent on buying new cosmetics and pets, and allows us to progress faster. These in-app purchases aren't strictly necessary to enjoy the game, however, so it's easy to play as a free player as well. It requires online access, takes up 518 megabytes of space, and for some the game might be too complex, but if you've been looking for a fun adventure RPG to dive hundreds of hours into, then Elona Mobile is perfect, since there's no entity system or the like limiting how long you can play the game. Next up this week is a fun indie game called Dungeoneer, which is a unique RPG card battler where we fight our way through campaign levels that each consist of 12 randomly shuffled cards that include treasure chests, monsters, and campfires at which we can recover HP. Combat against monsters is turn-based in this game, and it relies on our core attack and HP stats, which are both defined by the loot we equip. Fighting monsters happens automatically though, so our objective is to constantly decide between flipping the next card or fleeing with the loot we've acquired. And this is where it starts to get interesting, because if we die, we don't get to keep any of our loot, so it's pretty hardcore in that sense. But if we make it through the deck, we can risk our loot and XP to play again with increased difficulty and 25% extra rewards. So the most fun part about this game lies in figuring out the exact optimal time to flee before we lose everything. Between levels, we can upgrade our loot in town and buy permanent power-ups that increase our gold and XP gain so we can progress faster. Now, since we simply tap to flip cards, the main game mode gets slightly repetitive after a while, which is arguably the game's main downside. After level 10 has been completed though, a fun endless mode unlocks that feels deeper and honestly more engaging than the main campaign levels. The game is rather grindy, but finding new gear is fun, and I strongly suggest playing until you unlock the endless mode. Dungeoneer monetizes through occasional 4 stats, a one-time $4.99 in-app purchase to remove these, in-app purchases for a premium currency used to progress faster and unlock new card designs, and then a $2.99 monthly subscription that removes advertisements and provides a bunch of gold and premium currency. The game can be played offline, takes up 180 megabytes of space, and with a bit of grinding, it can relatively easily be completed for free, so the monetization doesn't have a big impact on the free-to-play experience, and it's worth checking out if you like card battlers. It is definitely not often that I cover a sports game here on the channel, but I just had to make an exception this week with The Spike, which is a challenging and unique 2D indie volleyball game with a story-based campaign, a single-player tournament mode, and lots of cosmetics to unlock. The core gameplay loop in this game has us play the campaign mode until the opponents become too difficult, at which point we can play quick training matches to earn more gold, used to improve the stats of our players. These training matches also help us get better at serving, receiving, blocking, and spiking, so that we have an easier time completing completing the campaign matches. Now, since we need to perfectly time our every move and jump to execute a good spike, the game is incredibly skill-based, and this also means that the controls initially feel almost impossibly difficult. Fortunately though, the game lets us enable a setting that make our character automatically run and jump so that we only have to time our blocks and our spikes. Once we then become really good at that, we can then turn off the auto mode for a much more challenging experience. So I think it works both for casual players and for the really hardcore players out there who are just, for some reason, really good at these types of games, which is, by the way, not me. Now, when it comes to the art style and UI, it is very average and maybe slightly below average, and the wonky camera movement and wacky animations may also be a turn off for some players. I just hope that these issues and the occasional glitches that I did also experience will be addressed through updates over time, since the game is still very new and under active development. The spike monetizes by showing a forced advertisement after every match, which honestly feels somewhat aggressive since the matches are very short. On the bright side though, buying any of the premium currency in our purchases that start at $4.99 US removes all advertisements, and the premium currency can be spent on buying cosmetics or gold to train our players faster. The game can be played offline, takes up 177 megabytes of space, and is overall a fun experience that shows a lot of promise, but that also needs more polish to become a great experience. So for that reason, I think it's worth considering checking out. And now for something that always gets me super excited. It's a new Mario Kart alternative called Boom Karts that features both single player and multiplayer races and has been developed by the hill climb racing developer Fingersoft. So in true Mario Kart style, boxes with consumable power-ups are spread throughout each map, which we then activate to slow down our enemies or even get a quick boost for ourselves. All 9 maps in this game also have hidden shortcuts and even traps that help create a very entertaining gameplay experience, which is something that Mario Kart gets really right and that most other kart racers on mobile have really struggled with, but I feel like Boom Karts has become very close to recreating that really fun gameplay experience. The game features real-time multiplayer matches, an adventure single-player mode, and even custom servers that we can set up and freely customize to play with our friends in. Now, for every match won, we're rewarded with a timed loot box that includes gold and vehicle parts that we can then equip to increase the speed, acceleration, boost, and handling stats of our cars. Just like in almost every other mobile game these days, each part for our vehicle can also be leveled up, and we also unlock new vehicles as we progress in the game. The controls are surprisingly well calibrated, making properly maneuvering our kart and drifting to gain a speed boost easier than in most other kart racers on mobile. The art style is really nothing out of the ordinary though, but then again, on the other hand, that also allows the game to run on even low-end devices. Although Boom Karts is definitely entertaining and the matchmaking is relatively fast, the game currently lacks a casual, non-competitive game mode for when the single-player adventure mode has been completed. The game monetizes through incentivized video advertisements for extra loot boxes, rare forced advertisements, and then in-app purchases for a premium currency used to get gold and loot boxes. It requires online access, takes up 305 megabytes of space, and while paying players definitely have a strong pay-to-progress fast advantage in the real-time multiplayer mode, the game is perfect to play with friends in custom server rooms, so if that's what you've been looking for, Boom Karts is definitely worth taking for a spin. There you have it, my friends. So now let me know what you thought about these games in the comment section down below, and please do recommend me some new games that I should check out in future videos. I really appreciate that you're still here. Thank you so much for the support. I hope you'll leave a like and subscribe on your way out if you haven't already, because then, until next time, just keep gaming, stay awesome, and I'll see you guys around. To the volleyball game, and I know that's a bit of an odd one because I don't cover that many shooters, sports games. Because this is a unique, the adorable, I can't say that.